Hi, my name is Celeste, and the villain I'll be talking about today is Dr. Octopus. Dr. Otto Octavius, or later known as Dr. Octopus, Doc Ock for short, is a complex villain from Marvel's Spider-Man franchise, created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. He often appears in the series as one of Spider-Man's deadliest foes. He originally appeared early in the franchise, starring in the comic The Amazing Spider-Man number 3 in 1963. Since then, he's appeared in dozens of adaptations across comics, films, and games, such as Spider-Man, the animated series from 1994, the Spider-Man video games 1, 2, and another in 2018, Sony's animated film Into the Spider-Verse, the film Spider-Man No Way Home, and my personal favorite, Sam Raimi's adaptation Spider-Man 2, starring Alfred Molina. The best cohesive example of his backstory is from the 2003 film Spider-Man 2. In Spider-Man 2, Peter and Otto first start as friends. Peter's childhood friend Harry Osborn, who's the head of Oscorp, introduces the two. They quickly bond over their shared interest in science and wanting to strive for bigger things than themselves. Peter looks up to Otto, and Otto appreciates the interest. From this intro, we can see the roots to why Dr. Octopus views Peter as the only person worthy of his attention and time. They are two sides of the same coin, a respect that runs deep. Doc Ock's main focus and goal throughout the first half of the movie is to prove that his invention can change lives. His key project, the Fusion Core, involves creating a miniature sustainable fusion reactor, essentially a miniature star, that would be capable of providing limitless renewable energy. He wants to change the world for the better, even telling Peter Parker, "Intelligence is not a privilege, it's a gift, and you use it for the good of mankind." Despite the progress he's made, many investors and fellow scientists don't believe he can do it yet, and their lack of trust motivates him. This project means everything to him. Due to his overconfidence in his own scientific abilities, he refuses to take the proper safety measures, and the words of warning people gave him he took as their own lack of knowledge. During a test, an incident soon occurs on a set of 4 large mechanical arms. An explosion that causes the destruction of the lab, multiple injuries and casualties, including the death of his beloved wife, was the aftermath. Most notably, the blast caused damage to the inhibitor chip that controlled the mechanical arms that infused them to his spine. The once autonomous arms soon began to take a sinister influence over Dr. Octavius's mind. Like a parasite, it's focused on survival and power, convincing him to continue his work under any means necessary. They whisper to him telepathically and play into his delusions, taking advantage of his fragile mental state, reminding him of the loss of his wife and the tragedy he caused, manipulating him to believe that his experiment failed due to Spider-Man, despite of his initial belief of a miscalculation. It gradually erodes his moral compass. It's not his fault. He's too smart for failure. These arms that were made for good bring his dark thoughts to the forefront of his mind. With his new sense of power, rebuilding his device and proving his naysayers wrong is his new ultimate goal. After causing trouble in New York, Doc Ock has a final showdown with Spider-Man. During this time, Spider-Man is revealed to be Peter Parker, which causes some doubt in Doc's mind. Seeing as his once friend, it snaps him out of his crazed mindset, giving him the push to fight against his evil thoughts. He realizes how far he's fallen. He knows that the only way to make it right is to destroy his creation. With the last of his strength, he collapses into the structure that held the core, saving everyone in New York. He dies knowing he did the right thing. I will not die a monster. Analysis. In typical adaptations, Dr. Octopus is a supervillain who combines his extraordinary intellect and power of his mechanical arms to commit large-scale crimes. Because of this, he is a powerful force against Spider-Man. Throughout the years and across texts, he has committed quite a few crimes, ranging anywhere from mass murder to vandalism, some of the worst being swapping minds with Spider-Man and leaving him for dead in his dying body, terrorism, mass murder, manslaughter, kidnapping in general, but also specifically kidnapping Aunt May and Mary Jane, two people very important to Peter, unethical experimentation, identity theft, robbery, and mass destruction of property. Some common traits that Doc Ock shows are an unhealthy obsession with success, delusions of grandeur, proving his intelligence, an inability to take any form of criticism, and reacts by lashing out and seeking revenge when challenged. These combined paint a vivid picture of his mentality. It's clear he's a narcissist, a villain with a mental health condition. His inflated sense of self causes the cravings for recognition for both his intelligence and achievements. He's blinded to the consequences of his actions as he views them as a means to an end. This is why he's so susceptible to the manipulation of his new mechanical arms, making Spider-Man a great nemesis as he too is brilliant, but doesn't let it inflate his ego. Dr. Octavius's character arc often involves his fall into madness. Though well meaning at first, it's his previously stated narcissism that gets him into so much villainy. He's highly motivated by his own ego, scientific ambition, and his desire for control. For example, in Marvel's Spider Man, he's presented as a scientist who's struggling to fund his ambitious project of mind controlled arms. But once he learns that his benefactor will be pulling the plug, seizing his equipment, and stealing his invention, he goes off the deep end. It's common for him to be threatened by others doubting or taking his work. His technology's corruption only increases his dark feelings that he has tucked away. His motivation often comes from being pushed to his limit. Despite all his faults, Doc Ock often has glimpses of his humanity shown. For example, in The Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 700, Doc takes over Spider-Man's body. However, when he sees that the only way to defeat the other villain, the Green Goblin, and save Peter's love interest, Anna Maria, he willingly gives it back. As talked about before in Spider-Man 2, when Spider-Man reveals himself as Peter Parker, it snaps Doc Ock back into reality. This ends up being the push to help him fight back against his corruption, sacrificing himself to destroy his unstable fusion reactor and save everyone. In modern adaptations, he has some level of respect for Peter. Doc Ock has done a lot of heinous crimes, and his motivations are often in self-interest. However, the way his feelings and actions are presented makes him more of a tragic villain rather than a pure evil one. His good intentions are often corrupted. In multiple cases, he's supportive of Peter Parker, and on rare occasion he cooperates or even helps Spider-Man. In some stories, we even get to see how Peter reacts seeing his friend, sometimes science mentor, turn into a villain that he needs to fight. Other characters and the writers often try to keep his helpful spirit alive, hopeful that he'll be strong enough to fight his bad thoughts. I believe under these circumstances, this makes him not completely evil. There are still moments of clarity in his character. With the facts presented, it's clear that Doc Ock is a banal villain. He's lost control of himself and is manipulated by the mechanical arms attached to him, driving him to commit crimes and spiraling further into delusions of grandeur. The creation turns on its creator. With all these things in mind, it's clear that Dr. Octopus is a great villain due to his complexity. Being a comic character, he has his funny moments, sad moments, and everything in between. He is a great opponent that tests Spider-Man's intellect and strategy skills rather than the agility and strength others bring to the table. He's a villain with pathos due to his motivations and small glimpses of good in him. It's easy to empathize with his issues of needing to prove his worth to others. Despite his inexcusable crimes, his stories are engaging, relatable, and layered. For these reasons, he is a complex villain. What can we learn? Dr. Octopus shows us how brilliance without humility can transform even a great person into a villain. The end. Thank you for listening.